Putnam City, Norman, Oklahoma City, Bixby, all communities that have made headlines in recent months due to concerns about hazing.
But are these events horseplay that got out of hand or symptoms of a bigger problem? Fox 25's Phil Cross examines what's happening with hazing and how to know if your child has been the victim of more than just a harmless initiation.
A lot of times when we do stories on sensitive subjects, we let you know you may not want to let your kids in the room. However, this is a story that covers a troubling subject and is part of a conversation you should be having with your kids. We're talking about hazing, and all too often it crosses the line from child's play to child rape. The 1990s. CD players, boy bands, floppy disks, and a time when Comic Sans was an acceptable font choice. As the internet age came of age, it was also the time when a darker side of school life began to take on a life of its own. Here's Dr. Susan Lipkins, a psychologist and author of Preventing Hazing.
It actually started in the 1990s, and that it seemed to be getting worse and worse. And as I've tracked it and written the book, I have found that sodomy on high school teams is like rampant throughout the country, and it's becoming more and more acceptable.
According to a 4-year analysis by the Associated Press released last year, there were 17,000 reported cases of sex assaults by students in grades K through 12. Hazing or initiation rituals have been around for decades. However, each new generation wants to one-up the last, leading to increased violence and sexualization.
They're looking to humiliate you as quickly as possible, and on men's teams particularly, turning a male into a female by penetration is the quickest way to make them feel like they're the lowest level and to maintain that power.
Dr. Lipkin's blueprint of hazing shows how a student begins as a victim. The following year, they are the bystanders until they become the perpetrator.
And it's true. It's not an isolated incident. It is not 3 bad eggs. This is a culture. And if you see hazing on a football team, you should go look for it on the basketball team and the wrestling team and the swimming team and the lacrosse team and the girls' teams. Don't think that it's isolated to one set of kids.
Forced sexualized encounters are not hazing. At best, they fit the legal definition of sexual assault. At worst, rape. And talking about it or even acknowledging the violation is difficult, especially for teen boys, says Travis Humphrey, the executive director of Bethesda, a Norman-based organization dedicated to treating childhood sexual abuse victims.
It can be really hard to talk about and even accept sometimes that it's happened, or accept that it's affecting your life even.
Humphrey says untreated trauma like that caused by unreported or unaddressed sexual assaults can last a lifetime.
There's a lot of hope for those victims who have suffered any form of sexual abuse, sexual assault, that you can recover, you can heal, and it doesn't have to define the rest of your life.
But how can you help or even know if a child is a victim if they don't say something? It isn't always easy.
Really what you're looking for are dramatic changes in behavior.
Humphrey says these changes could include eating habits, sleeping schedules, mood, academic performance, or even a child that was once very engaged in sports and excited about making the team who suddenly shows a disinterest in even going to practice.
It's not your fault. And that is pretty easy to say, but boy, when you've gone through child sexual abuse, there's times when it feels like it's your fault, but it's not.
Whose fault is it? It isn't just the perpetrator, says Dr. Lipkins. It is everyone who accepts the status quo. She believes in radical intervention.
If they get rid of a coach, that doesn't matter, there's a new coach. They get rid of 3 kids, that doesn't matter, there's 3 new kids. You get rid of the team, that matters.
And until there are major enforced punishments backed up by coaches, administrators, and the community, sexualized violent hazing will continue.
This sexualized hazing is across the United States, and parents and teachers, superintendents and coaches need to recognize it and stop pretending it's not there.
If you are watching with your child, now's a good time to have a conversation about all this. It can start even before your kids get into sports. Bethesda teaches parents and children how to be empowered to speak out. Now, if you'd like to learn more, go to our website, okcfox.com.